How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Box to Box. Listen, the Premier League weekend's over. Arsenal sit top of the league. City, Liverpool have dropped points. Tottenham lost and Chelsea got smoked. It's all smiles here at North London, but we also need to finish top of our Champions League group. And I believe a win against Lens this Wednesday at the Emirates does that. And then we'll be through top of the group, awaiting that draw for the next round. I don't know when it is off the top of my head. I didn't check. I should have checked. But listen, it's all about just finishing top first and foremost before I do go check. I'm sure the comment section will let me know too. And as you can see, I've got Simon back in the building. He was on Box to Box a few weeks ago when Lens, they beat us in that first fixture away, obviously. And I haven't talked about the game since with Simon. So I'm glad to have him back on the channel. But first and foremost, Simon, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Thanks for welcoming me again to the Box to Box podcast. And you said it, the last game has been a very good one for Lens and a less good one actually, at least for Arsenal. But I'm happy that at least some of my predictions were kind of okay. We won that game, and that's been a really great game for all Lens fans. And the only thing we'd like to have a new, very exciting game for the Lens fans. So looking forward to the game on Wednesday evening. In the Emirates this time.
It was a tough game. One of the best teams we've come up against this season. And it's funny because going into that game, Lens wasn't in the greatest of form, didn't start the season well. But since that game, I should have double checked before we went live. But since that game, we've only lost one game, if I'm not mistaken. And that was the away fixture at PSV.
That's correct. Actually, there's been so many draws, actually. Yeah. And Lens was getting back on track, just before the game. I think the trigger to have Lens being really strong this season was the games against Sevilla, but the one against Arsenal was really an awesome one, at some point. And behind that, after that, there's been some draws like 0-0, 1-1, not that great. And then there's been the first game, the draw against PSV. Lens lost, unfortunately, the one at the PSV stadium, 1-0. But Lens also won like two pretty strong games, actually, once against Nantes and once against Clermont yesterday, 4-0 and 3-0, actually. So the team is back on track. Really, the beginning of the season has been pretty tough, losing 4 times in 5 games, But no, Lens is back. Lens is 6th of the ranking. We'll see with the games tonight, but I think Lens will remain 6th of the Ligue 1 ranking. And now getting back, to be close to the first top 5, top 3, and Lens is back at the place the team should belong, I'd say.
I just checked now, and you're 6th, but you're a point off 5th, and currently a point off 4th, who Lille occupy at the moment, but they've got a game in hand, so that might change a little. But like I said, it's like chalk and cheese going into that first game. Lens are underwhelming start to the season, but now, albeit a lot of draws, you seem to be finding your feet, and you picked up a great away win on the weekend, 3-0 away to Clermont. So well done on that. While he actually got on the score sheet on the weekend, he got on the score sheet against us, but he hasn't really had the best of starts to his Lens career. I think he's only got 2 goals in the league at the moment. And when you look at who he's replacing in the side from last season, I expect that. Is there question marks around him, or is it just unfortunate circumstances tactically and personnel-wise that's caused it?
There's many answers actually to this question, and I think yes, why he's not Openda right now. One thing that is pretty important is that why arrived pretty late during the transfer window, while Openda arrived a bit sooner. So you need to adapt to the tactics, etc., etc. Also, why did not start well, on Ligue 1, but he has performed pretty well in Champions League, and we have seen that, against Arsenal, because there was this first passing to Thomasson and then scoring actually against Arsenal. And now he's getting better. He's being more decisive. But the point is that there's also kind of a lack of maturity. The game yesterday, he scored, but actually has been excluded from the pitch 10-20 minutes later, something like that, because he was like kind of being a bit provocative, kind of fighting with some opponents. So the game finished like 10-10 actually, starting the second half. But so why can be really great. He's a great scorer. If he's got the ball just out of the penalty area, that could or getting a good passing, as it's been the case against Arsenal in the first game. He can be very precise. He doesn't need a lot, to score actually.
Yeah.
But there's still this lack of maturity that could, be against him at some point. And if the Arsenal defenders, Saliba, Gabriel, are defending well against him, he could lose a bit of his patience. And behind him, we don't have that talented scorers. We've got good guys, that can replace Way, of course, but they are not as talented, let's say, as Way. So, I mean, the result, the score of the game against Arsenal away on Wednesday will really depend his capacity, to really focus and score when he'll have some opportunities, because he won't have that many opportunities.
Yeah, it'll be a lot more difficult. And something that Saliba and Gambella both done well this season is not get caught up in any nonsense away from the actual football. So it'll be an interesting battle, especially knowing what we now know of why after speaking to you right now. Sotoko looks like he's having a good season, experienced 33-year-old. He's got 3 goals, 5 assists in the league. Is that the man to watch out for on Wednesday?
Sorry, who again?
Sotoko.
Sotoka, of course. Sotoka is having a good season. He's having many good seasons in a row, actually. He's the top player of France.
Okay.
I mean, he's really the top player, especially on the offensive part of the pitch, actually. He's got good passing, good shooting, good heading on corner pitch, actually, on corner kick, sorry. He could be really great on that. And, he's not the team captain, Samba actually, but Sotoka is kind of playing this because he's experienced in the team. He's in Lens since a long time now. He's one of the most seasoned guy we have in the team. And really, he's got this grinta, in the Spanish say the grinta, he's got this really fighting spirit that drives the team actually to always be playing even if the team is losing. We could see that again against Arsenal because the team was losing 1-0 and Sotoka really drove everyone, motivated everyone to go forward and to try to score actually, and we managed to do so. So Sotoka is really a key player for us. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the name that I've picked out as someone that Arsenal need to pay close attention to because everything seems to go through him. Yes. And you mentioned he's good in the air as well. So he looks pretty all round and he's got the experience, 33 years of age. So that's definitely someone to look out for Arsenal. But let's go back to the last game, Simon. What did you make of Arsenal? I mean, I guess it's your first 90 minutes watching Arsenal, which was the one away at your ground. What did you make of us?
The last game in Lens, you mean?
Yeah.
So my thought was that, to be fairly honest, I was expecting Arsenal maybe at a bit of a better level. Everyone saw, in the stadium that technically, practically, Arsenal is better, at some point. I mean, we are speaking about a top Premier League team that is right now first of the Premier League, that is going to fight for the title in the Premier League against Lens, And so definitely the team is better. But I think what Arsenal didn't have was, for that game, was what I was mentioning before, which is the fighting spirit. It looks like they scored the first one and they just maybe rested a little bit, maybe thinking that Lens was not going to come back. And once Lens came back, actually, the overall mood in the stadium completely changed.
Yeah.
And I think Arsenal didn't manage to change it back, actually, on their side. And this is the reason why the team lost. So I'm, of course, expecting a very different game, in the Emirates on Wednesday, because, well, that will be in the Emirates, not in Bollard anymore. And Arsenal will get the ball, will take the ball, will fight for this midfield battle, which I think is very, very important in any Champions League game. 100%. And I think definitely the game will be different. So I'm not expecting the same story on Wednesday, but we'll see.
Yeah, and luckily for us, I mean, we bounced straight back from that loss. So we beat Sevilla home and away, and we currently top the group at the moment, expected to finish top. Because after that Lens defeat, 2 game weeks into the return of us being in the Champions League, it was a bitter blow. I think Lens deserved it. And like you said, once the momentum swung over, Arsenal didn't really we didn't actually do anything to get it back in our favour. And Lens really kind of grew into the game more and more from that first goal. So listen, well done on the 3 points. I actually do hope you finish second in the group, but I also hope that we win the game this Wednesday and just, finish off our Champions League group stage, finishing top of the table and potentially being able to rotate against PSV away in December, which is a very hectic schedule for Premier League side. So, hopefully Arsenal get the job done Wednesday. Obviously, you're hoping for the opposite. PSV are away at Sevilla as well. So, not an easy game for them. And then, obviously Arsenal face PSV, and you'll have Sevilla how do you fancy your chances of qualifying this season?
Tough, but realistically, it's there. We have some chances because when you think about it, so I mean, the game is decisive for both Arsenal and Lens, the game on Wednesday.
Mhm.
Because one thing so right now the ranking is Arsenal, PSV, Lens, PSV and Lens with 5 points, and Sevilla with 2. I'd say it should lend to the same ranking at the very end when we look at the quality of the teams. But there's one thing that is very important is that if Arsenal is winning against Lens on Wednesday and PSV winning against Sevilla, it's done. PSV and Arsenal are both qualified actually because PSV has won one and draw one. So that's done actually. And I mean, every Lens fan will be okay to be third in the group, because we are moving to a Europa League. That still we would be still playing continental games. That would be great, but we can do it. We've been there actually until there actually, so we can do it. And we don't. I mean, the last thing that Lens should do is looking at the others. Is the team just need to try to get this point, at least maybe 1 point from the Emirates, maybe more, we never know, but at least 1 point, from in the Emirates. And if Lens is having 1 point, at least even if PSV is winning against Sevilla, it's not done yet. And Arsenal should still fight for the first place, actually. So this is changing everything. So that game on Wednesday is changing everything. I think the chances from Lens to qualify are kind of maybe 50-50 right now. Maybe I'm a bit optimistic, but I think it's 50-50 right now. And I hope the game on Wednesday will not drop this chance from 50-0.
Well, Sevilla play PSV at 5:45, so by the time our game kicks off, we'll actually know what the circumstances are around that game.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
And Sevilla, if you look at the Europa League record, and they're currently on 2 points, 3 points behind you and PSV, I'm sure they're gonna fight for a win. I'm sure they're gonna want to at least finish in a Europa League spot.
Of course, we can count on Sevilla to fight as well, because they are playing this game home against PSV. They will play their last game away against Lens. So I mean, any chance they have to finish second, to finish third, they will take it actually. So the 4 games in this group, the 4 remaining games could be very tough.
Yeah, and listen, if you don't make second, I hope you make third. I hope your run in Europe remains wherever it may be. And listen, I'm talking that we've already got the job done. Imagine Lens turn us over on Wednesday, and then we're having a whole different conversation going into the final group game in a couple of weeks. Well, I already picked that Sotoka as the main man for Lens. I think you pretty much agreed with that. So tell me, who do you think is the main man for Arsenal? I mean, one thing I've got to mention is Jesus' goal in that first fixture between us. It was something about Jesus. He's not an out-and-out striker to me. And I've had arguments recently. Is he a false 9, out-and-out striker? For me, he's more a false 9 because his strength is bringing in others more so than it is getting on the end of chances. But that chance that he scored against Lens, it was one of the only ones I've looked at him and said, that was a very instinctive finish. All he had to do was take one touch out of his feet, create a yard of space, and he finished it bottom corner. But, we've got a few talents on the pitch that you might be weary of. So I want to know from you, who's the one player that you need to keep quiet this Wednesday?
So there's many, of course, that can be very strong and just kill us, at some point. Will he be forward? But there's one thing, of course, anyone, Martinelli, Nketiah, Saka, Trossard, that is playing more like it's in the last games actually. Yeah. But one thing I mentioned earlier was the midfield battle, and that's where Lens is actually being a bit weak, let's say, this season. Fofana has not been replaced. He will never be replaced. We need to find another guy. But right now, we didn't perfectly replace him. And so if Rice, I'm really scared about the quality that Rice can put in this game, actually. I mean, if Rice is playing well, and helping Arsenal to win the midfield battle, there's no chance Lens is getting any point actually from the Emirates. So I think he will be the key player of this game because of this midfield battle.
Yeah, as soon as you said midfield and you've got worries there, I thought to myself, Declan Rice is going to come out of your mouth soon. And I expected that. He's been man of the match for us more often than he hasn't this season. And that's not me checking. Off the top of my head, I'm sure that over the 20 games we've played in all competitions so far this season, he must have won man of the match more often than not in the games he started, because again, against Brentford this weekend, listen, Havertz came on and scored the winner. Big up him. Hopefully he continues and kicks on from here. But Rice, again, I mean, every time he steps on that pitch, 7, 8 out of 10 at the bare minimum. And no one's talking about his price tag no more. Thank God, touch wood, because, you know, that can bring a whole lot of pressure when people start comparing your performances to how much the club spent. It's never really going to live up to it. But we've got a solid man in there, and it's about time. Let's slowly but surely go into predictions now. And we are the home team, Simon. So I'm going to go first. I predicted a win in the first fixture between us as well, and that didn't go well. But I'm gonna predict another win. I'm gonna say we have to learn our lessons from that first fixture. Now we can't take Lens lightly if that's what happened in the first fixture. But we are pretty strong now. No Timber, no Partey. Everyone else has returned. Champions League, the team's set up different than the Premier League. I don't expect our wingers to be doubled as much. I'm going for a 3-1 Arsenal win.
I've heard 3-1 is your classic.
It's a classic.
In the bet, actually, in the predictions, let's say. that makes sense.
I might have said that in the third picture. I don't know, but yeah, probably.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. And realistically, Arsenal should win this game. But I'd say my prediction would be a bit different and would be fitting with what I mentioned earlier, which is we need to get a point from the Emirates to keep hoping to qualify. I mean, to be second and to qualify to the next round, actually. So I'd say 1-1, which, as last time, can be a bit optimistic, but I really want this one, and I think Lens is clearly able to do so. One big difference is that Lens needs to score first. If Arsenal at the first game, Arsenal scored first, but it was in Lens, and that makes a big difference because of the audience, because of the fans. But this time, if Arsenal score first, I don't think we can come back, actually. So 1-1 with Lens scoring first. Fingers crossed. I hope it will be the final result. Maybe more, we never know. But that would be a good thing for Lens, at least.
One thing I know is you're going to go for it. Lens don't set up to stifle and low block and 10 men behind the ball. You're going to go for it. So it'll be an entertaining game, to say the least. Simon, listen, it's been a pleasure having you, not just on today, but a few weeks ago now. I know you don't do content, you're not a YouTuber or anything like that, but you do have a social media platform. Do you want to plug that? Should I put it in the description? Do you want to let them know?
I actually don't. I'm staying a bit out of the social media, but thanks for asking, actually. No problem.
Even better, man. It's better. Out of social media, your mind is calmer, man. Listen, yes. I wish I could go back to that, but it is what it is. We're here now, and I'm talking about football. All right, we'll wrap it up here, Simon. People, actually, Simon, I hope you make the Europa League. If you do make the Europa League, I might pass your number on to Flex or KG at United View, because United are probably going to be in the Europa League with you. So you might face them. And if you do, then I'm going to pass your number on to them.
With pleasure. I hope we will remain in Champions League, but if we are going to Europa League, happy to have a chat, any podcast with any of your peers, of course.
There you go. Come on, Simon. Love for the love, Simon, man. And people, show Simon some love by hitting the like button on this video. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't have a channel. He doesn't do any of that. He's just a Lens fan living his best life. And he's hoping for a Lens win this Wednesday. But we will see what happens this Wednesday. Let us know your predictions in the comment section below. Thoughts, lineups. How would you go in strong as possible? Would you rotate a few? We are top of the league at the moment. And I believe we've got Luton away on the... No. Luton is Wolves on the weekend, then Luton away after that. So a couple very winnable games. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Show the video some love, and big up Simon as always. People, we're at